something like $13 million that has been furnished by the Small Business Administration out of Washington to put the businessman and homeowner under the Emergency Act back into business.
Now let me ask you this. The people that were here during Hurricane Donna, say the businessmen, when they came back and they saw this tremendous loss, did they just pack up and go away, or are they still in Marathon today?
No, far from it. I would say maybe 1% of the business people left, and those were going to leave anyway. The storm actually didn't drive any of them out. All of them rebuilt. Most all the residents rebuilt. And the houses and businesses seem bigger and better than ever.
What lesson have you people learned on this matter, on hurricanes?
Well, it aided in getting in our building codes in, the zoning laws. All of these have been enacted by the legislature but hadn't been enforced yet. And we do have excellent building code now that all the people in rebuilding had to follow. We've got building inspectors and a code following Dade County Code.
Then would you say that if another hurricane with the devastating force of Donna came into the Keys, you would be better prepared than you were last time?
Roger, would be better prepared, yes, but it's questionable if anything can withstand winds in excess of some 220 miles an hour.
Mr. Art Stirrett, as mayor of Key Colony Beach, do you remember Donna?
Yes, I remember her very well. I think it'll be a very long time before we forget Donna.
Why?
Well, I think Donna left quite an impression here with us in the city of Key Colony Beach, and I might also add that Donna taught us many, many things. That is, as far as our building and the way our building should be constructed and how we're going to be built. We'll never forget her, and we've certainly improved on her since she's left us.
What do you think of the new building code?
Well, the new building code that we've enforced since Donna is going to help us tremendously now and also in the future. We have many, many builders coming in now, and they are most happy to see that we are enforcing the building code both for their benefit and our benefit.
Mr. Ashton, do you remember Donna?
We remember Donna vividly. On the last warning, we left and returned about 5 days later to survey the destruction. It was pretty complete. But we all got busy and started to rebuild. Thanks to the Navy, the Coast Guard, Marines, National Guard, and the Red Cross, which was very helpful in regards to food, clothes, housing, medicines. We don't know what we would have done without them.
How much did you lose? What did you lose?
We lost docks, we lost boats, motors, merchandise, trailer houses. In fact, the loss was pretty severe as far as ourselves was personally concerned.
How long did it take you to get back into business?
It took us a little over 3 months before we was first able to do any business.
What did you do for money to rebuild?
Money we got from the Small Business Administration, which is a federal concern. They survey you and loan you money on interest at 3% over a period of time, long range, which takes care of your business. But it was the Red Cross that took care of our ordinary needs, such as mortgages, food, clothing, and various other incidentals.
Do you think Marathon is growing better because of Hurricane Donna?
It definitely is growing better.
Bob Stock, do you remember Donna?
Oh, I certainly do. I spent the night with her down here.
Where did she come from?
Came down from the west, right across from here.
Right out of the Gulf, the bay?
Gulf, that's right, and stayed here for about 6-7 hours.
What did she do?
Well, she probably destroyed everything down here, ripped everything apart.
Well, what did she do to your place?
Well, the cottages were all wiped out. The main building wasn't hit too hard. Wood stood very well, but the cottages, they all got wiped out.
Now, why did you rebuild? Why didn't you just get out?
Why we rebuild? Well, we had reservations. We were booked up for the Christmas holidays.
Then you have faith in the area.
That's right, and I didn't want to refuse the reservation.
Those cottages that were destroyed, you rebuilt them. Are they built better now?
Well, we built them by Miami Code like we done before. Our cottages were very well built beforehand, before the hurricane struck. The only destruction we had, the roofs didn't go on our cottages because they were very well built. The only damage we had on the inside. The windows went out, and the doors went out, and the furniture went out. But the structure of the buildings, they withstood the wind.
You think the building code is important then?
Oh, it is. Certainly is. If everybody builds them like that, we wouldn't have the losses down here.
To non-Floridians and newcomers, hurricanes are probably the most overrated feature of Florida. To those of us who a year ago spent 3 sleepless nights covering the vicious storm, the hurricane is Florida's most underestimated problem. That ill wind that slashed Florida taught not only Floridians, but those raked earlier this week by Carla, that hurricane preparation is not nonsense. Donna resulted in our taking stock of communications and shelter facilities, an examination of building codes, and the testing of new hurricane tracking methods, including the launching of the Tyros weather satellite. What did we learn from Donna? That the safest area on the Atlantic coast is Miami because of our building code, that our greatest danger is public apathy. Donna destroyed more than 55,000 homes, 17,000 additional structures, and 1,900 boats. More than 69,000 families suffered personal, if not physical, loss, to an estimated cost of several $100 million.
Laying the groundwork for the Weather Bureau plans to seed future storms. The plane in which I flew was one of the types scheduled to perform such experiments. What is it like to fly into a hurricane? Well, as one of the crew members described it, it's like flying in a saucer before the wind. Power lines went down, leaving half Dade without electricity. The streets were empty of people, but quickly filling with debris. Then, gradually, the rain slackened, the winds began to die, and the storm was over. In her wake, she left a shaken and waterlogged South Florida. Many thousands who had left their homes and sought the security of hotels came back to find a litter of rubble and debris in their yards and a big cleanup job on their hands. There were broken windows, torn awnings, wrecked and twisted signs and billboards. But the storms of a decade ago had already brought about stiff building codes, and they paid off in human lives and property saved on the night that Donna did her worst. Summing up, the nation's playground bore up well under the storm. But hard-fisted hotel men, fearing the worst was yet to come, predicted a slump in tourist business, a local recession. They got a surprise. Business Week magazine, in their September 17th issue, tallied up dollars spent, reported there was a business boom before, during, and after Donna. Worried Miamians had set up a clamor for storm shutters and emergency supplies as Donna bore down on them. Even afterward, an expected drop in real estate business never happened. Instead, the hurricane boosted Miami's economy. Unemployed construction workers were suddenly busy with storm repairs and later with new construction. And new industry kept on coming. 105 companies, like the Peacocks, the city strutted as proudly as before. The pride and individualism of some longtime residents proved a problem to Miami's emergency workers just before the storm. An evacuation was ordered for Key Biscayne. Most of the occupants packed up and left, but
The key of Isla Mirada was almost washed away as the seas came plunging down over the 2-mile-wide community. The area has done a good job of cleaning up, but even today, there are traces of Donna's terrible destruction. WCKT News journeyed to the Keys to talk with the residents and to find out if the crushing wind and water destroyed the people's confidence. We found it strengthened.